Ellie, you told me that you have been living in India for about 3 years. You have been learning and teaching yoga, and you have some good feelings towards yoga. Would you please explain to us more about what you think about yoga?
Yeah, I think yoga is a philosophy to live the life. Yoga have, I think, like two big big places in my life. I think the life in all the practitioner. One is a path to really settle down our mind. I think all the time we have this, like we was talking about this, the stressful society that also the Western country we are living really strong. And I think it's to live through yoga, through consciousness about our body, our breath, and our mind. We can really see our thoughts coming, which kind of thought we have are good or bad, for our day by day. This is something that I think that yoga give us this settle down the mind, and we can really take this distance and don't be all the time like stressed and afraid and everything with our thought that sometimes is a lot of thought about a lot of things. And for the other hand, I think that the way of living through yoga is about behavior also. I think that in this is the point, because yoga also is talking about yamas and niyamas. In they have like 8 stairs in yoga, and yamas and niyamas is the base. Is about our behavior in life, like this: be good person, be good, do good with people, and also with your body. Take care about your body, about your struggles in life, how to deal with the things. And also for me is really important, But yeah, I think that this is the 2 main pillars in yoga. And this connection with peace, our inner peace, because when we can behave good and we are in this path, and we can take care about our body through exercise, like could be asanas, could be through Ayurveda, that is the food, and also we can take care about our mind and our thoughts, we can really find this peace and this some point balance in our life.
Do you have like mantras, things you have to say, or music you have to listen to in order to make the connection?
Yeah, you have mantras, and you have different singings that it's not mandatory. It's there. The Ashtanga, these 8 limbs of yoga, the mantras are not there, as a connection. But I think also mantra have some connection with the Hinduism,
Yes.
And you can really, it's a way to pray to God, because in the mantra we can pray to Ganesh, that is one god for them, to Shiva, to Durga, to Kali, and thousands of gods that they have. And through mantras you sing to them, and there are some connection. But in the practice of yoga, there are some mantras there that you can have or don't have it. For example, in the beginning in the opening session of yoga, there are one mantra that is for the gurus, for all the gurus around the world, that some teachers are singing and some teachers no. And then we have the Om, that is the universal sound, that the connection is to be connected with the earth, with everything that is vibrating around the earth. We are making this connection, and what we believe is through our practice we can connect and give also this balance, this peace to all the world, because there are this sound and this vibration there. Like it's more about frequency, because Om is growing up in our body, and this energy frequency that is with all around us.
You talked about some very, very important topic, because yoga is something that's of interest, especially nowadays around the world, regardless of nationalities. People just practice yoga, they teach yoga, and anybody that talks about yoga, usually the first thing that comes in my mind is something positive, that it's going to be good for the person. So in that sense, yeah, obviously there's a lot of positivity in that. But given that I am a religious, a Muslim, I wouldn't say preacher. I look at things from Islamic point of view. And although I have to say this so that people won't think I'm prejudiced, I was a yoga teacher before. At the time when I was teaching, I didn't know much detail. I just was interested in some of the things that you had mentioned, you know, the breath, the making the connection between body and mind and the peace and some movement, some stretch outs. And at this time, I was not practicing Islam. At that time, I was practicing Christianity. And at some point, somebody gave me a video, a cassette about warning about yoga. And I said, how could somebody warn about yoga? What is it? When I listened to it, then it affected my way of thinking, and I stopped everything related to yoga. What was it? I understand that there are many ways of religious practices around the world, many ways of spiritual teaching, and yoga is like a spiritual teaching with physical benefits. But it's not a physical teaching with spiritual benefit. Why I'm saying this is as a Muslim, as a Christian, as a Jewish person, we all believe the same way, is that God has given us direction, and He has given us the way to choose, the way to live, the way to pray to Him, the way to worship Him. So we worship only one God. So Hinduism, when I was studying it, and as much as although I am not an expert in it, as you yourself know, Hindus worship many gods. And their main two gods are Vishnu and Shiva. Shiva happened to be the god of, he's a destroyer, the god of destruction. Vishnu is like the god of love. Yoga comes originally from Shiva, who basically is said to have had 7 sons of God, or 7 disciples that he trained them to teach yoga to other people. So as we know, Shiva and Vishnu, again, like Hindus believe in one or the other plus multiple other gods. So the foundation of yoga comes from an entity that people believe to be God. And this entity, God of destruction, our God is God of love, God of compassion, God of forgiveness. And He never teaches us anything that comes from a foundation of destruction, this type. So we cannot, first of all, accept any kind of a discipline that comes from polytheism, because yoga, yes, has a lot of beautiful things, but yoga is a polytheistic practice that seems like benefits to a lot of people, but people who say, no, I'm not a polytheist, I do not believe in multiple gods, but I like yoga. So somebody like yourself, you don't know all the details about this, you like yoga because you see the benefits in it. But if you see the foundation of something is based on a polytheistic foundation, then we would ask ourselves, yes, there are some good things in it, but maybe some things would, when I'm chanting, when I'm doing the mantra, I remember I would sit down and chant for a long time and everything, and I was feeling that I'm connecting with some kind of a God. So Islam makes things so much easier for us that we do not do any action, anything possible that would connect us to other than God. Because if we do any prayer, anything devoted to other than God, it would be rejected. Not only rejected, we may feel good, we may feel at peace, but God, Allah, the Creator rejects anything that He has not sanctioned. So a lot of foreigners, Westerners, go to India because they lack this peace, they lack this feeling of serenity. They come from a very stressful life in the West. They come and they find something that gives them peace, give them something that they didn't have. So they hang on to it, not knowing that foundation of this practice was idolatry. So as Muslims, we hang on very tight to our practice that Allah has taught us through the Quran and the Prophet Muhammad, and we try to stay away from anything that is other than that, even if it makes us feel good, even if it gives us peace, even if it gives us whatever it gives us, because all that you mention that the yoga gives to people, Islam gives us, and even more. So we stick with that, and we're thanking Allah that He's keeping us in that path and asking Allah to not let us astray from that path.